What's up, folks, and welcome back to the Swag Shack. This is the third episode of going over This is the third episode of going over Beautiful Monday's looping coaster entry. So this original coaster, or this idea, was a kind of recreation of Diamond Heights. So to give you some more context, the original coasters were from an RCT1 scenario. So if we go and click New Game, Diamond Heights, and then we run over here, this is the original coaster scenario. So you've got your Schwarzkopf looping coaster track, and funny thing, they don't have wheels on these, it's so funny. But they've got the OG Schwarzkopf loop. And I think what we're going to do is we're going to try to mega-size these, because if we look at this and go back to the original, well, not the original, the park we're looking at, we kind of got these weird supports that are kind of mimicking the idea of it, but it's not really accurate. So that's something we're going to do. We're also going to take a look at these large turnarounds and see if we can make these supports look a little bit better. And any supports over water that are large supports would likely have footers, sort of like we've got down here in the water over here. Always building in water is always such a troublesome thing, but we'll figure it out. So we're going to focus on that, and then we're going to look at these arches. I personally don't like these track arches underneath. It literally just looks like track underneath a coaster. They're not even painted to match, which is even more troubling. It's like it's just a random color. So the thought behind that maybe didn't translate to what the viewer understands. So we'll do that. We'll see how far we get into this. Might do this little bridge, because I don't think it's going to take too long. I want to give you an example really quick before I get into the building as to what a larger loop might look like. So my boy 30 had made this shuttle loop coaster. Oh my gosh, it almost goes off the edge. Using some track hacks. So he's using the standard loop piece, but he's using larger loops. And I think the reason he's using the larger B&M track for the loops is the spine is thicker. So that might be one of the reasons he's doing that. So I will look into this to see how he builds it off screen. And then the first thing I'm going to do is obviously go back into the other save, and I'm going to switch these loops out first. We're going to see what it looks like. I've never done this before, so it might be some trial and error, but you'll watch me do it. And yeah, maybe we make a tutorial just doing that loop. That might be a fun little miniature video. Thanks to 30. So hope you all enjoy this first little bit. I'll be back to you after the build. So you can now see that the coaster loops have been swapped to large using some hacking tricks. The problem, and I say problem, it looks really, really good compared to what we've seen in the past. Let me look at these really quick. So you can see, even on the small loops, they've got a thicker base, sort of a thicker spine, even on the small track. So when you see that this track swaps into the thicker track overall, that's kind of what we're going for. And here's sort of like an image of a traditional Schwarzkopf loop. So in this circumstance, the track merging kind of makes sense for this part. So no complaints that it doesn't look good, because we're doing the best we can, you know what I'm saying? So not bad. And I'm going to delete these loops right here so we just get them out of the way so it cleans up the look. I guess we don't want to delete that overall. We'll keep that. You'll see me piling some track over here. I actually want to get some track on this bad boy too. Let's see if I can get it with the support under it. Perfect. So I like it. I think 30 did a good job. Yeah, there's a little bit of a hiccup from each perspective. It's a little round into the loop, but if we move this, it looks bad from the other way, which this looks perfect. This looks almost perfect. Those look fine. It's this right here. Did I do it right? I might have just... Yeah, 30-30. So it's probably going to look good from this view. Yeah, it looks perfect from this view, and then that's a little janky, but yeah. Visually, I think if you're looking through this, you're like, okay, yeah, that's a big old loop. Yes, it's pretty far off the ground, and that might be a little bit. And then also we've got these coaster track supports coming through, so you see little supports here and there. Actually, I'm apparently supposed to have no supports underneath these at all. So if this is part of the loop, then that should be gone. That should be gone. We should see no supports other than the supports that are cutting. Oh no! Did I make a certain piece invisible? Ha! Gotcha. This one, that should be gone. And then did that just cut through the entire track? Can't tell. Should look fine. So we're just doing some looky looks. What's this connected to? That should be gone. Okay. That's connected to up top. That's connected down low, so we'll get rid of that. That's connected up top. That's up top. That's up top. So it looks good. It actually looks even more clean like that. So that's cool. That's really cool to see. So I think that looks good. I think the next thing we're going to do is we are going to do the large supports for these tall sections. We're going to get some A-frames using diagonal pieces, and we're going to move those about so that you get a little more realistic on these. These small pipes might be strong, but you want to make sure there's some more rigidity on those coaster structures. So that's what we're going to do next. I have now done is made the extra supports. I feel like I could do that, get away with that, right? Yeah. Okay, sweet. Okay, so I've done the supports for one of the turnarounds, and I'm using two different things. I'm using single rail. I'm using some compact inverted to make some cross beams. Also using just regular pulls, extra supports where there might not be. So I'll basically just duplicate this style on the other side, which, I mean, you see a lot of lack of supports, and then I'm not sure angle-wise how this is going to work going into this covered stairwell. So we're going to take a look at what we've got and try to make it work as best as possible. So I think I am satisfied with these supports. I think this one looks better from this angle, and this one looks better from this angle. So we've got both of them that now look a lot more supported. Yes, they clip a little bit when they go through. Just deal with that. The reason I say just deal with that, because as of right now, these coasters were built on a park that is just not prepared to totally think of custom supports. You do a lot of thinking when you're building layouts in Roller Coaster Tycoon when you're trying to do realism. So just be aware this is not the best you can do, but we're just trying to improve it a little bit by using some special techniques. It looks much more supported, so let's actually save this and then load the original. So when we look at this area, we just see kind of really tall track. I mean, there's not a support on this piece of track for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tiles, just because of like things in the way. So it looks pretty odd. So when we swap back to this version, it's a lot more supported. So that's what we've got for now. And I think it's okay. I think, honestly, if you gave me more time, I would think about changing things up just a little bit here and there. But for now, I think I'm okay with what we got. I wonder if there's a track support here that's missing. Yeah, that looks good. I don't know if that clips through anywhere else. But yeah, you can see every now and then where there's like a piece of track. Let's see if it clips as it goes through. Nope. It's just what you do when you're using so much scenery underneath the tracks. Or potentially this loop technically gets rid of that piece, even though visually it's never going to touch. It's just this track piece takes up more tiles. So I think the only other areas that might need some taller supports would probably be like this one right here, coming back the other way. So those two, and interesting, like this one and this one. So theoretically those would need extra supports. We're not going to get too far into that because I don't think that's going to be a major difference maker in the park overall. But I do think some of these diagonal supports over the pathways should change a little bit. So let's first, you know what? We're going to get these plants all fixed. I'll leave the grass. We're going to save it with that. Okay. So I'm going to figure out how to do this archway because it's diagonal. It's sort of by itself. And then we'll think about this afterwards. So hang on tight. I'll be honest, all I did was remove the understructure, and I feel like it already looks better. So, I mean, this angle looks a little odd because there's like no support visible because it's directly under the track, but I mean, to be quite frank, this looks nice. Maybe this was supposed to be like netting? I don't know. I just think it looks more succinct with everything coming through here. So, let's just say that's an easy fix. Maybe I'll take a look at what we could use as potential netting. This is what I've come up with for, I don't know, potentially sort of like a cover safety net for the coaster that flies over all these folks. I didn't think to myself, potentially they'd like probably do a full net. I think that makes sense. Yeah, now it kind of seems more like a tunnel too because it's got the sides covered up. So, I like it. I like it. Let's see, Mine Train coaster, maybe a little brighter. Yeah, I like the brighter. Sweet. Awesome. We're just learning new stuff today. Sweet, sweet. Okay. So that's going to be the little cover right here. So before this, so we've got all the supports back. And then if we look at the before, it was just sort of like a red arch. So I mean, it's still an I don't really like the way the pathway looks. It's just kind of a straight line. This is not great. Oh my gosh, I just realized there's just a little hill right here. Kind of for no reason. I guess the terrain says there should be a hill here. I mean, let's be real. Like, turn this brown just a little bit, right? Cover that up a little bit. Make the stairs look a little more unified. There's ways of doing double stairs. We're not going to get into that on this map, but I like that. I like the way that's covered. We might use some more of that design elsewhere, maybe over here. But also, I really want to do this. I think this is like a giant restaurant, restroom area. It just looks wild. So, thanks again for watching. We did the supports, we did the loop. We also did this little bridge area. Let's look again at the original. So hopefully we can agree that it's a solid improvement overall, where we've got some more supports, more realistic looping supports. We've got better supports on the high turns, and then we've got this little nice area over here where peeps are chilling. So I'm going to go ahead and take a look at the regular one again, or the new one. It's looking fly, baby. Well, thanks again for watching the Swag Shack. If you've got feedback, please leave it in the comments below. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you all in the next video.